Fuck it. Fuck it. It's all good. Fine. Whatever. Already off to a fantastic start, technically. I started hearing the song twice, and yeah. It's all good. Hello, chat. Sorry, I thought we were going to have an intro song. I don't know. Maybe I'll play it at the end. Once I don't know. I don't know why that was doing that. I don't know why anything's going on right now, to be perfectly honest. Hello. How has the last week of your life been? I know it sounds like I just got abducted by aliens, and I might have, to be perfectly honest. I am, I don't know. Hold on, let me close my door real quick. Okay. Just double check stuff. Oh, that would be why. Fucking... I had YouTube open in another tab. That would be why. Sorry about that. That's why that was echoing. Anyway. Hi. I'm all over the place. I realized slightly earlier today. I mean, today has just been a very sleepy day. It's been rainy. It's been weirdly cold. I don't know why it's been cold, but it's literally been in like the low 60s or high 50s even. That's in freedom units, not Celsius. So I don't know, call it 20°C. I don't know. But it's been weirdly cold for the middle of fucking June, right? So that's been weird. It's been dark. Everything is tired, seriously, or just dark. Like I normally have lava lamps going in my room, as mood lighting at night, and then fucking instead, it's the middle of the day. It feels like I should have them on, so I turned them on. Hi Savannah. Hi Tris. Hi Nia. Hello. I saw Moon earlier as well. And anyway, I didn't even have a stream scheduled. I've apparently never scheduled the next Jack stream, and I kind of realized I need to sit with that game a little bit more. It's kind of lost me, to be perfectly honest. I think it looks gorgeous. It's a really nice looking game, and it doesn't even feel bad to play, but it doesn't give me that sense of forward propulsion that I like. I feel like it's a little open-ended, and as a result, I've kind of hit this point with it where I'm like, where am I going next? And I realize that I need more power cells, and the unfortunate part of that is I'm looking at needing more precursor orbs. So that, as well as like, well, I don't really want to devote a stream to running through levels that we've already played looking for precursor orbs, because I've done that before. I've done hunting streams where it just doesn't work. I find them boring, chat finds them boring, so I'm going to do that off stream. I really meant to do that at some point in the last week. I didn't, so instead I'm going to play things that I find a little bit more exciting this week, and then next week we'll get back to playing Jack. So, but thankfully I have actually been playing a couple other games, and there is some stuff to show off. There is some more fun to be had. So we transition to my PlayStation, and I take a sip of my drink. This is, by the way, Blake's Hard Cider Big Jam. Blake's being a local cidery in Pennsylvania. I have no idea, by the way, if anybody can even see or hear anything. I see that there's viewers, but chat isn't going, so I have no idea what the fuck is going on. I'm going to assume that everybody is just as sleepy as I am and just go, and if somebody tells me there's a technical problem, fuck, we'll figure that out when we get there. But yeah, no, I've never had anything. I have had Blake's. I've had some Blake's. I've never had this Blake's. I meant to, back when I worked at the beer distributor that canned me for no good fucking reason. No pun intended. Alright, Savannah says, yes, sir. So you guys are here. Hello. Welcome. Take a sip. That's pretty good. Definitely is not what I would consider dangerous, which is the word that I use to describe alcohol that doesn't taste like it. You can definitely taste it that's alcoholic, but it's a nice cider. It's I don't want to say it's on the overly sweet side. It's maybe like in the middle-ish. Big Jam is a mixture of different berries, I believe. This says that it is. This is how fucking dark it is in here, by the way. By the way, I don't own a lamp. I know that sounds insane. I used to have a desk lamp, but then I never used it. And the one time that I do need one, All right, we've embarked on a flavor odyssey and turbocharged our iconic triple jam. So triple jam was strawberry. I want to say that's strawberry, blackberries, and raspberries. That's it. So that's what's in here, and then they made it 8%. So very, very nice. Anyway, so there is some stuff to show off, like I mentioned, because I have been playing games that are not Jak and Daxter. One of which is the one that's in the title, Tony Hawk 4. And actually, I figure, before we get into playing any games, importing some stuff into iCloud. Hello, DCB. Thank you for showing up, as always. I figure I could just show off a bunch of stuff, and then we'll play some Tony Hawk. So, before we get into the games proper, I do want to show off one fun thing that I actually got the chance for the first time ever to properly utilize. And that is going to require us to boot up a game. But that is not the game that we will be playing. Let me pop out my MC boot card. Pop in the PlayStation memory card. What's this, chat? A PlayStation memory card with PlayStation 1 games on it? What could that mean? And I'm not even gonna... we're not actually gonna play games like this, which is, why I'm able to do this. You might remember that I'm not actually able to stream PS1 games over hardware. I can, but I have to play them through the OBS window. But thankfully, we're not actually going to be playing it. I just want to show off how fun this is. So, I'm sure you guys know by now, there are ways to make, to get around, like, the region locking stuff. Like, for example, if I were to, let me actually take this disc out, and let me show you what we're going to be doing. I guess I should just say it. You ever heard of Tony Hacks? Tony Hacks is a way that you can burn games onto CDR. And then I like how I'm holding this up like I'm showing a camera. I have autism, I'm sorry. Anyway, is where you can burn games on a CDR and then play them. Now, if you're using an actual PS1, you might as well just use Free PSX Boot, which is a diskless version of this exploit. In fact, it works pretty much the same as Free McBoot. But anyway, if I were to just take this little burned CDR and pop it into the PlayStation, watch what happens. Watch what happens while I take a drink. And this is going to take a moment because it always feels like my PS1's laser or PS2 laser is on its last legs. But I promise you it will pop in a moment. Check this out. Dramatic tension. Yay! We got it! The spookiest screen on the internet, chat. So this is what happens if you try to boot a burned game of either PS1 or PS2 format that is, well, burned. Obviously, it doesn't actually work. They call this the red screen of death, and it's very, very spooky. Ostensibly. I don't know. It is kind of eerie. It's kind of weird. But anyway. So, how can you get around that? Because, of course, I don't own every PS1 and PS2 game in existence. Well, what you can do is you can use a little thing called Tony Hacks. And they call it Tony Hacks because it takes an exploit entry point game. Like, for example, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, 3, and 4, which ironically is one of the burned games that I've got. But we're not going to be using those because my copies are so fucking knackered. So destroyed. Because you guys remember the Slim PS2s? So the Slim PS2s had a problem with them where the ribbon cable attached to the laser assembly would actually pop up out of the tray. And while the game is moving, while the disc is spinning, and actually scratch up the game. So, if I were to take out my copy of Tony Hawk 1, for example, which I played a lot on a Slim PS2, the music will skip on that copy. It'll still play, but it will be very, very weird about playing. And the music will skip, and it'll be, all fucked up and all that. And that's because Slim PS2s do, in fact, kill games. I've had it happen, personally. But I currently have a fat PS2, so thankfully we don't have to worry about that. So what you do is, and let me show you again before we boot up the game. So you see we have a Crash Bandicoot 2 save, and then we have this thing called THSPL. So these are both halves of the entry point. So you have the Crash 2 save, which is actually a corrupted save, and then you have the Tony Hawk's executable itself. So you go ahead and boot it. 2013 DCB took a picture of the red screen of death on a CRT. That's adorable. You know, I don't see as much about the red screen of death anymore as I do. I see, they call it, what was it, Fearful Harmony and stuff, which is where this screen, that PS1 boot up screen, that is actually partially encoded on the disc. So there's certain bits of text and stuff that they don't come from the console, they come from the disc, like the Sony Computer Entertainment America, whatever the fuck. That actually comes from the disc. So as a result, games can glitch that screen, and glitch it in pretty interesting ways. But anyway, of course kids, I mean, this is just like the 2025 equivalent of like the Viacom V of Doom and the scary logos kind of stuff, you know? Anyway, here's Crash 2, Cortex Strikes Back. This is technically my copy of the game, not that I've ever actually wanted to play through it. I'm just not a Crash person. But it's nice to have because it's one of the supported games by Tony Hawk's. So anyway, you boot into it, it reads your memory card, and then it finds, oh, what's that? A Tony Hawk's save. You hit it, your screen goes blue. Check this out. How cool is that? So now we are in Tony Hawk's International. We have arrived, chat. We are on our way to the gate. We are going to fly off in style at Tony Hawk's International. So now we take that CDR, which this is actually a vintage 1999 verbatim CDR that I got from the thrift store yesterday. It was $1 and it was still sealed, and I have blanks, but I was like, you know what? It's for shits and giggles, for the novelty of it, absolutely. So anyway, pop the tray open, swap your disc. Now, there's ways you can do this disc swapping thing without all of the technical stuff, like all the Tony Hawk stuff, but this makes it a lot easier, obviously. Goes in, notices that there's a CD in there. Pop my Crash 2 disc back in there. It loads in a whole bunch of stuff, notices that there's a disc, starts reading the disc, and bingo, bango, bongo, we are into our game. So this is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 for the PS1, which is not the version that we will be playing, but it's a version I want to show off very, very briefly because I find it fascinating. So, bet you guys didn't actually know that they were still making these Pro Skater games for the PS1 as late as 2003. That's pretty late for the PS1. I think it was 2003. No, 2001 was Tony Hawk 3. 2002 was Tony Hawk 4. 03 was Underground. So, yeah, so 2002, but that's still pretty late in the PS1's life cycle. That's well into the people owning PS2s. So anyway, if you've ever played the third Tony Hawk for the PS1, you know that it's basically Tony Hawk 2, but with the 3 levels, and they literally will give you the same score goals, find 5 whatever the fucks, collect, skate, that sort of thing. Tony Hawk 4 is similar, but, and I find this really fascinating, it once again ports back all of the extra stuff, like all of the extra moves and stuff that you can do. If PS2 games came out in 2014, I guess anything is possible. Yeah, I mean, they were making PS1 games till 2005. That's 10 years. Still not as late as PS2 games, but that was 14 years after the PS2 came out. So the PS2 had a longer lifespan. PS1 was no slouch, though. 10 years later. That's not bad. Anyway, hello, Rorik. So I've got Tony going on, but I'm going to switch actually to... by the way, this one brought Bob Burnquist back. He actually went to a different skating game, which is why he was not in... I want to say he wasn't in 3, I know that. I don't know if he was in 2. I don't think he was in 2. But yeah, it's because he went to a different... he went to an ESPN skating game. But he finally came back for Tony Hawk 4, so we got Bobby back. And anyway, I mean, there's only one choice. Rodney Mullen, the legend. I don't normally skate with Rodney first because he's a street skater and has, you know, usually pretty shit vert stats, and vert is my thing. That's where I rack up all my points is verts. So anyway, Tony Hawk 4. What's this? It's our... Wait, what? Seriously? Your progression isn't tied to your skater? Really? Look, I still have goals completed and the competition medal. I got all that with Tony, not with Rodney. That's funky. Alright, well, whatever. It's fine. We'll just switch back to Tony. And... because I was going to show off a little bit of an unmolested save, but I suppose that's... I could just unload the save if I wanted to. But anyway. So yeah, they took... If you don't know, the big trick with 4 was that you actually free roam the levels, and then you can pick goals to do just as you feel like it. So obviously a major leap ahead that would, you know, lead to Tony Hawk Underground and that kind of thing. Well, they took that concept and they brought it into the PS1 version. Sorry, I had to turn on my my analog because that doesn't happen automatically. So it's college, but it's like a PS1 version of college, which is crazy, you know? And these levels are big. This feels very similar in size. There's some things cut out. Like, there's a parking garage down this way that they cut out. But they did a lot of the same sort of stuff for Tony Hawk 3 on the PS1. I've done a lot of these goals already. But yeah, so you'll see, instead of coming up to pedestrians, because there's no pedestrians, you'll instead see that there's these floating icons lying around. And you go up to those and you hit circle to start whatever the goal is. So there's score goals, there's skate. That one wanted me to deface tags. This is combo hard, which will want me to grab all the combo letters in the same thingamabob. Or the same combo. I don't want to do that. Skate, we'll do this one. So it wants me to collect all the skate letters in 2 minutes. And you still get the same 2 minutes, but you get 2 minutes specifically to do that. So I know that there's one right here. If I can get to it. Sorry, I'm playing through the OBS window, which is slightly laggy. There we go. Alright, so there's S. Fuck. I'm not this bad at Tony Hawk. It's alright. It's all good. Like I said, I'm playing through the laggy OBS window. Normally I would just play on my TV, but my TV doesn't do 240p over components, so that's a no-go as far as streaming PS1 games. If I was streaming S video, it would be fine. Here's a little secret area, by the way. That's kind of neat. Yeah, but anyway, I've heard people say they don't like this version. They say it's kind of crappy, and I don't know. I don't think that. It feels pretty similar to me to Tony Hawk 3 on the PS1, you know, just with obviously with the changes that they made, which, if you're curious about what changes they made, for example, if I end this goal, just to show you real quick, if you do a lip, right, so there's lip tricks, which I never do because lip tricks are for babies, but if you do a lip, you can do, like, extensions like that, where you do the lip, let me try that again, you do the lip, right, and then you hit triangle and a direction, and then you do a different lip trick. And then you land it. I'm like, what the actual fuck is going on? But apparently that's a thing. No, I see people are talking on Aftersleep now. And then the other thing that they added, if I go back over to that area that we were in before, is, and you're going to see more of this on the PS2 version that we are going to play. Oops, I thought that was going to be a ramp. Is, check this out. Spine transfers. This shit is black magic to me. Now, I'm so used to like this, right? If I find, let me find a, yeah, let's do it right here. This is what I'm used to, right? You fly over here, and then you just land on your side. That's what I'm used to. But this spine transfer, which is where you hit L2 or R2, and then when you're going up, lets you upright yourself. I'm like, what the fuck? Cheat code? You know? Whoops. It's crazy to me. It's absolutely crazy to me. And I was actually having a really good time playing this version last night, just going through, getting the different goals. There was one that wanted me to do like a manual over the bridge. It was like a manual. I'm trying to remember what it was. It was a manual something or other where I do a manual and then like I do some other trick from the manual into the bridge, something like that. Then there was, I think the normal skate was over here. There's a skate hard as well. You could tell that they were trying to figure out what can we do for goals, not gaps, excuse me. What can we do for goals, because there's still no pedestrians. In the PS2 version, you were doing things like skitching and trying to beat people's scores or whatever. And then there was an outright competition, which I think was right here. Or actually, no, it was back by that ramp. Like a competition in the level. Like, it wasn't like, oh, it's a separate competition level. It was just a competition goal in the level, which is hilarious. What's this one? Extreme score. Hey! Now this is a little bit more my speed. So what you do, or what I do, is I just go find a place with, like, 2 half pipes that I can just do tricks in over and over. And this also has the reverts, so you can do this. And just, like, your cock is huge, you know? Oops, I didn't commit to that. Damn it. I gotta build up speed again. But yeah, this still has the reverts, obviously, which reverts are where if you come down, you see how I turned? That lets you continue your combo out of a pipe, or out of a ramp, which is very, very useful. This is how you get the 500k on, like, cruise ship and stuff in Tony Hawk 3. You basically need to use revert. That one I just felt like cherry tapping a little bit. So anyway, there you go. And you get a stat point. And a lot of the sound effects and stuff are reused from Tony Hawk 3. Again, it's just surprising how much they were still putting effort into backporting these Tony Hawk games well into the 2000s. You know, this was, like, again, well into the PS2 era. By this point, you were already starting to see games come out on DVD. And, I mean, what was out in 2002? The first Sly Cooper. I think Ratchet & Clank 2 was going to be out next year, I think. What else was coming out? Obviously, Tony Hawk 3 and 4. 3, 4, and Underground was 2004. I don't know. But there were already starting to be, you know, good PS2 games that were coming out. So, anyway. It was crazy that they were still bothering. I guess they felt like there was a... Especially given that they weren't doing N64 ports anymore. Tony Hawk 3 was the last N64 game released for the N64 period. So it's kind of surprising that they were just like, oh yeah, we're just gonna continue that, you know, on the PS1, even though we just discontinued on the N64. Anyway, that's all I wanted to show off. Yeah, definitely impressive. I've heard people say that for whatever reason the reverts into manuals don't work in this version. They feel fine. They feel like exactly the same as they did in 3 for the PS1. Which is, you know, not as fluid, obviously, as the PS1 version, or the PS2 version, but it works. It does the job. It's the PS1. It's not going to be as fluid, but it feels good. It feels good. And what was even funnier was that, you remember that secret room that I broke into, right up there? By the way, this is another thing you can do in these versions. You can maneuver the camera. Yeah, that one up there. There was a fucking music track pickup. So there's unlockable music tracks in the game. You know? That you could unlock by picking them up in the levels, which I find really funny. And that wasn't even a thing in Tony Hawk 3 for the PS1, so... Vicarious visions. They were being vicarious and having visions. I do imagine people are comparing it to the PS2 version rather than the PS1 version of past games. Only so much you can do on the console. Yeah, absolutely. And you could tell that they were definitely... I mean, there's still stuff that they were reusing... Yeah, let me save. You could tell that there was still stuff that they were reusing from Tony Hawk 2 on the PS1. Like, the Park Skater, or the Park Editor, for example. If I go back to the main menu... I go to the Park Editor. This is identical to the Park Editor from the second game, you know. The only difference is that they changed the themes. So we've got Cathedral, we've got Industrial, which takes a moment to load in. Actually, this is identical to the 1 and 2. Outdoor. which I feel like this was in 2. It might have been in 3. I don't remember. But obviously it's just like this weird dirt plot. And then S-Mart, which is not smart. It is S-Mart. This was not in Tony Hawk 2, at the very least. I think this was the school theme. But it's like a skate park put up in front of a department store, and they literally say on the windows, Super Sale Day. So, welcome. What does that say? It's crazy. But otherwise, if I go through all of the different, like, quarter pipes, rails, offset rails, walls, slopes, pools, these are exactly the same. You even get that crazy fucking spike pit. These are exactly the same as what they were in Tony Hawk 2. I know because I spent way too much time in the Tony Hawk 2 park editor. There were some things where they were bringing stuff over, but then in places where it mattered, they were still doing interesting things with it, which is pretty cool. Creating your own levels is awesome. Wow, I love any game with a level editor is instantly like 3 times as good to me. And I do have somewhere. It might be on Cam EV1, but I have a Tony Hawk 2 park save where I was actually trying to like make the most complicated Tony Hawk like levels I could with like actual like what do you call those, lines and stuff. And I had that, and I showed it off on a page on Cam EV1. I never brought that over to Cam EV2. I don't know if I'll bring it to Cam EV3 now that I'm working on that. But, it was neat. It was definitely neat. And it's definitely a pretty capable editor, despite the fact that the levels are obviously very simplified. And the one in Tony Hawk 3 and 4 obviously becomes much more complicated because the hardware is much better. But yeah, so that's a little demonstration of Tony Hawk 4 for the PS1, and then also Tony Hawk... Tony Hawks. That's it. Duh, Tony Hawks. That's a little demonstration of Tony Hawks for you. So let me turn the console off for a moment while I swap back my memory cards. Now there is one detour before we can continue the skating games. There's one detour that I would like to take. Something that I would like to show off. Because you guys got to see this in motion. Damn it, motherfucker. Sorry, my memory card ports are a little screwed up, so sometimes I have to pull the card slightly out to get it to register. There we go. This is the other game of the moment that I have been playing. And for this one, I can actually properly do it in OpenPS2 loader, which means I'll have to plug in my MX4 card. Which, by the way, Kebby, your MX4 card will be arriving tomorrow. So I will be setting that up and getting that ready for your PS2. Because unfortunately, her laser died. The laser in her console died. So she'll need a new way to boot games. Let me go ahead and get chat pulled up on my phone. Because obviously I'm going to be playing the game instead of watching the OBS window. Okami on demand. Yes, I will absolutely be setting that up. Okay. HDMI 2. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba. Hello? Oh, don't tell me you're gonna fucking do this. Why aren't you showing up? Oh. Oh, fixed it. Okay, my cable wasn't in all the way. My bad. So, this is the other game, and it's not going to take nearly as long. Although, again, we're just fucking around for tonight because I'm kind of tired. You guys ever heard of Fantavision? You guys ever heard of this insane fucking game? I say it's insane. It's not that insane, but it is bizarre. And this was a launch title for the PS2. So here's the gist of it, right? So Sony Japan, Sony of glorious Japan, has always had a reputation for making weird as fuck games. Oh man, this one's kind of displaying screwed up for whatever reason. It must be because of the HDMI thing. It might just be the video. So here's Fantavision, which has this like weird retro futurist kind of thing. You never guess what the game is about just from watching this. other than small children, I suppose. I thought it was the aesthetic. Anyway, here's Fantavision. Yes, okay, so it's going to display fine, other than being slightly off-center. Fantavision. So, like I said, they make some weird as shit games over in Japan. And this one was prototyped by this guy. It was funny. He apparently prototyped it, and it was basically the 90s Japanese version of Scratch, and then brought it to Sony Japan, like, hey, can we make this a game? And eventually they said yes, because they realized that the fireworks in this game would be an excellent demonstration of the particle effects of the Emotion engine in the PS2. So, as a result, Fantavision started to exist. And it's weird. This game kind of underwhelmed a whole lot of people, but then it has like a really small dedicated following. And I'll show you how to play. And it's not complicated at all, but it does get kind of weird to watch. All right.
Welcome.
By the way, take a listen to that sultry announcer as we play. So, see these? These are fireworks. You capture a couple fireworks, and you try to make 3 in a chain, and that'll show up in the top left. Once you got 3, you hit circle, you detonate them. Sometimes you'll get rainbow fireworks, which can, match with any color, basically. If you don't detonate a firework within a certain amount of time, that firework is going to disappear. Like, watch, this red one's going to disappear, it's going to say miss. Alright, well, never mind. One of these times it will say miss. There we go. Stuff is saying miss. And that's going to take out your... hello, Oscar. It takes out your little health meter at the bottom. You might notice that this looks a lot like Missile Command, and that is very, very close to Missile Command. Sometimes these fireworks come in different shapes as well. Like, this is going to be a daisy one. And that means that it pops... Big explosion. But you try to just make the biggest chain you can, basically. And these fireworks, they can explode other fireworks as well. My mother would play this if it was a phone app. It's very fair. This game actually apparently had a bunch of different soundtracks depending on which part of the world you played it in. So Europe, America, and Japan all got different music, which is fun. So you notice that I'll be catching those stars occasionally. Those stars are important because when you capture enough of them that you actually fill up the word star, you get what's called a star mine. And star mine, they'll just throw a ton of the proper colored fireworks at you, and you just rack up an insane chain, basically. Yeah, no, it's a matchy-matchy game. There's not a whole ton of strategy to it. You just kind of, like, select whichever ones the game will let you select, and then,
11 chain.
Then try to just make the biggest chain. It works best if you're not just flailing, but sometimes just flailing will work just fine.
4 chain.
So I'm very, very close to a star mine. The next letter that I get will be a star mine, as you'll notice.
4 chain. 2 daisy.
Right here.
10 chain. Star. 7 chain. Star mine.
Star mine. So we're going to get all red fireworks for this one. You just point. It's like a little bonus round. And this is easily where it gets, the most satisfying. And by the way, the length of the star mine is actually determined apparently by how big the explosion was that set the star mine off. So that last letter that you got. But yeah. So I got everything in the star mine right there. And this goes crazy, a matching game for the PS2. That's the funny thing. People call it a puzzle game. I don't see the puzzle part of it. I just see, like, it's like a weird, I don't know. It's got kind of like an arcade quality. It's hard to explain. I really don't know how to describe it. It's kind of arcadey, but then also kind of puzzly, but then also just kind of like flaily and colorful-y.
Energy up. 5 chain.
I don't know how to describe it. And basically, the thing that you just survive until the end of the level. You can see in the bottom right, I have it's traveling along that path. That tells you how long through the level you are. I'm getting insanely mesmerized by the gameplay. It's, you know what? I'm telling you, this game really is a treat to look at. To play, it's pretty mindless. But, you know what? I just cranked up Return of the Rentals last night and was playing it, and I had a good-ass time. And believe me, if you like the look of this, I haven't even shown you the best part. So check this out, right?
Congratulations.
So, there's 8 stages, by the way. So, we've just finished 1 of 8. It's legitimately giving me, ooh, sparkly, shiny. All of the gameplay explanations just poured out of my ears. That's okay. Just watch the pretty colors. It's fine. And like I said, none of these are sprites. These are all 3D rendered particle effects on the emotion engine. So this game is, I don't know if it's taxing the PS2 any, but sure is pretty. Anyway, let me see. I can quit out. Okay. So check this out, right? That's just the half of it. Check this out right here. If I go to exit, there's a replay option. Because I have saved, this was what I was up to yesterday. I almost made it through. I died on the last stage. These are all 7 of the 8 stages that I had gone through. And you can watch your replays. So my favorite stage of all of them is stage 5, which was called Snow on the Moon. Watch this. So it loads a replay. And then it gives you what is effectively a sandbox way to just watch the replay. Just watching fireworks. You don't actually have to play the game any. It'll just show the what happened, the explosions of the fireworks. But in a way that you can actually, like, you can control the camera types. So for example, I want to say type 2 was my favorite. Then you can control if like I want the map off and the chain off just to give us proper mood. Then you get to change the weather. Snow 3 is my favorite. Check that shit out. Your computer would be screaming in agony if it tried to emulate this. But on the PS2, obviously no problem. Change the effect, which overlap means you get the overlap of the explosions. Mist is okay. Mood is my favorite because it just, oh my god, it just turns it into such nice colors. Such nice colors, dude. 3D particles on the PS2 sounds like prime demo scene material. There are parts of early PS2 development that definitely give me demo scene vibes. By the way, if you see any glitching on the sides of the screen, that's because I'm using a widescreen hack. This game is obviously not meant for widescreen because it came out in the year 2000. But people have hacked it into the game, and you get what you get. It works pretty well. This is like one of those games, programs for showing off a graphics card. Yeah, it's definitely tech demo-y, and that's what a lot of people were saying at the time. They were like, oh, it's just like a tech demo, isn't it? It's like, yeah, but it's a very nice tech demo. Here, I'll show off some more stuff as far as effects go, because this is just my favorite. I could sit here all day watching this. But as far as other effects, we've got soft distance, which makes everything kawaii. Soft all, which just makes everything blurry. Psychedelic. You know what? I like psychedelic. Let's keep it on that one. And then here's the star mine. You can tell because of that specific explosion. Star mine's coming up. And then let's change the weather again. We can make it snow 4, which again makes the snow thicker. And then we can get some rain. Actually, it's not changing the weather. Interesting. It's just stuck on snow because it's psychedelic. Psychedelic is pretty. This is great. This is great. We can just watch this for a bit. It's another entry into the unofficial Booba Sensory Game series. Booba Stream 2. Alright. Psychedelic... oh my good lord! That's even crazier to watch. Holy shit. Guys, I don't know what the fuck we just took. Does anybody know? Genuinely insane. I'm so stimulated right now. Honestly, we're gonna break this out for New Year's. I think I'm going to start and end my New Year streams off with this game from now on. Because holy shit. What other effects we got? Psychedelic mirror. Oh my good lord. That's even crazier. Do not take psychedelics while watching this game. You'll stay awake for 2 days. We make sacrifices for the pretty colors, chat. Jesus fucking Christ. I'm telling you, this is phenomenal. Actually, you know what? I absolutely see the appeal of this game. You play it once, and then you just watch it. You just watch whatever replays you did for playing. Because playing it is okay. Watching it, Kino. Now what other effects we got? Oh, now we're back to normal. Alright, let's go back to... here, I'll show you what rain looks like, by the way. So we got rain, rain 2, rain 3, rain 4. Now it's just torrentially downpouring. Imagine if you played it in the trippy mode. Unfortunately, you cannot have the effects while you play. I wish you could. But yeah, there's also these samples, which I guess are just what Sony programmed showing off the replay system. But you could see actually my times right here. You see it takes me about, what, 6 to 8 minutes? Yeah, about 6 minutes to finish up every level. Here, I'll give you guys another one. We'll do another city one. We'll do another city one, and we'll change the weather to have, let's have a nice little rainstorm going. Get camera type 2 going. Change the effect to, yeah, awesome. And I forgot to turn off the effects for the map and chain. Jesus Christ. We are so stimulated, chat. Yeah, seriously, I have no idea how this game would emulate on my actual computer. So I'm very happy I could play this on the console and stream it for you guys. Ooh. Sorry, I was checking Discord. People were having chats. We are viewing the neurons as they activate. This is all 6 of my brain cells being activated right here, right now. Kick up the trip a little bit. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Imagine decompiling this game and having it run natively on PC. You're in luck. There is actually a remake of this game. It's called Fantavision 20XX, I want to say. Something like that. But it's on Steam. You can play it. Apparently, it's not as good as the PS2 version, but it gets you the visuals. It gets you the trippiness, and it is in 4K, I want to say. So if you are interested, get it while it's on sale or something, and enjoy the Fantavision 4K PC rendition of it. I sure hope there's music, by the way, because I haven't been talking as much, so if there hasn't been music, then you guys have been sitting in silence watching the colors. Oh yeah, there's music. Okay, thank God. That'd be so funny. That is exactly the kind of practical joke that chat would play on me. Because I'm sitting in silence watching the colors. I think that's the end of it. Oh, nope, 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 nope. We're still going. We're still going, chat. Baby sensory stream. Goddamn right. There we go. Stage 2 clear. You know who else has stimulated chat? My fucking memory card. Check this out also. Reminded of a stream clip of Germa literally watching baby sensory videos. So, obviously I'm in my memory card a whole lot. Just seeing, what's what. And obviously I know, when you go into a memory card, you see the size of the game save. So I go into Fantavision, and it was like 500 megabytes, or 500 megabytes, 500 kilobytes, and I was like, okay, that's a little on the large side, but fair enough, it's got to save all that replay shit. Then I checked it again, and you know how big this fucking save is now? This fucking save is 1.5 megabytes, because of all the replays. Beefy! For comparison, GTA 3 is 500 kilobytes. And for double comparison, Tony Hawk 4 is 64 kilobytes. Even Jak and Daxter is only 700. Fucking Fantavision is a fireworks game. It literally doesn't fit on a floppy disk. It's crazy. It's crazy, chap. But yeah, this is definitely going to be one that I pull out for New Year's and stuff. For obvious reasons, I think it will become a staple of Cammy streams from there on out. These are some compressed game saves. This was back when you had to give a shit. My memory card holds 8 megabytes. You had to give a shit, because if you didn't, it would take up the whole memory card, and then people would be mad. By the way, for whatever reason, I hear that people say that, like, the sports games and whatever take up a whole bunch of space. Madden doesn't. Maybe the franchise mode does, actually. Maybe that's what takes up all the space is franchise. But I don't have Madden 2003 franchise on here. Maybe I should do that. Maybe when the weather gets a little bit colder. He says as it's like mid-60s and raining outside in the middle of June. Maybe I'll do myself a little Madden franchise for the first time ever. I do have a fondness for 2000s football games, even though I am a pasty white computer nerd. And then there's Fantavision. Still not as many blocks as my Sims Kingdom on the Wii. Those damn EA developers. They know not what they do. Alrighty, let's get back to it, chat. Not Fantavision, because our almonds have been very much activated already. We are going to be getting into Tony Hawk 4, and that's what I'll be playing for like the next hour and a half. By the way, here's some other stuff that I've got on here, if you're curious. I've got, once it loads in. Hello? Hello? There we go. I don't know why that fucked up like that. MX4SIO, there we are. If you're curious what else I've got on here, I wanted to try the Capcom Classics stuff, as well as NBA Street, because I love NFL Street, and NBA Street is apparently just like a flashier, glammier version of NBA Jam, which I've also never played. I gotta get on that. And then Sega Rally Championship, which is a Japanese game, but, you know, it's all in English, so it doesn't matter. That game is hard as fuck. And then Tony Hawk 4. Tony Hawk 4 time. We're actually playing Pro Skater. I thought it was just Stimulation Station for like 2 hours. Man, don't give me ideas. I might. It's that kind of day. But yeah, no, we're gonna. I think you guys are gonna see the difference going from 4 on the PS1 to 4 on the PS2 is gonna be pretty stark. Did you see that, by the way? Tony Hawk is a trademark of Tony Hawk. My man trademarked his name, which makes sense if you're a personality. You should. Apparently you can skate in this area. I mean, I see the money icons. I don't know how you skate in this area. But it was Pretzel said it. You could skate in this area somehow. My screen never updated from the standby image, so I thought the stream had started. That was the problem. I was seeing my standby image in my preview window, and I was like, man, what the fuck is going on? Thankfully, it was fine. You should trademark Marito. I should. That's a good-ass idea. Anyway, Moon. So what you missed was Tony Hawk for the PS1 and then Fantavision, a.k.a. Stimulation Station, a.k.a. Booba Stream 2.0, where we watched colorful fireworks for like 20 minutes. I've never been more stimulated. Anyway, so now we're going to play some Tony Hawk 4. So, this is crazy, right? If you go through all the different skaters, they talk. Which is weird. They didn't talk in any of the other ones. And some of these guys did not sound anything like I expected them to. Oh, he's got a flip camera shirt. That's what that is, right? Flip cameras in 2002? Wait, what? Can't be. You never asked them how they're doing. That's true. Right on. Tony and Hawk, the skater legacy. Yeah, I did mention in the start of the stream, I need to spend more time with Jack and Daxter just hunting down precursor orbs. I wasn't going to subject you guys to 2 hours of that, so yeah. But anyway, of course I started with Tony. What's weird, by the way, is that I guess they just randomly allocated, you see the yellow dots? They just randomly allocated the stat points to different characters. Like, obviously you see that those match. Tony's doesn't quite match. I don't know. There's some weird algorithm where they're like redistributing the stat points that I got with Tony to the other skaters. Goddamn communism. So yeah, here's Tony. So I've actually unlocked 2 different... no, I have not. Sorry, excuse me. I've only ever unlocked California College. But yeah, I'll just show you guys. I think you guys are going to find it a little bit striking going from the PS1 college to the PS2 college. In both directions. PS1 college is impressive. PS2 college, though, is like, oh my god, we're living in the future. This still feels fucking modern to me, by the way. There's nothing about this that doesn't feel modern. So anyway. You get a parking garage. 4K. There's a professor. And you can talk to him. Instead of a goal icon, you just talk to the professor. And he goes, there's some hooligans. And they stole my car. And they're drinking and driving. Please skitch it. So I skitch it, which means to hold on to the bumper. And they're trying to shake me off. Oh, fuck. Man, what the hell? I almost had that. I was struggling for that for like 10 minutes the other day. And now I get a little bit of fucking 8% berry cider in me, and all of a sudden I can skitch just fine? Okay. I can confirm the parking garages are like that in college. I'm very glad. Thank you, DCB. Thank you for the on-the-ground updates. It's the important part. Anyway, let's try that again. I have to use the D-pad for this, by the way, because for whatever reason, whenever I use an analog stick, I'll point up, I'll think I'm pointing up, and then I'm actually pointing up and to the right. This happens all the time when I play on the classic controller. So, anyway, skitch. And then you just try to keep it in the center. It's effectively like you're balancing with, there we go, that's more like it. It's effectively like you're balancing with, like the rail balance or like manual balance, but you can see they try to shake you off really hardcore. Oh, what? Oh man, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. We're gonna get this live, chat. This is better than I've ever done. I'm locked in. You see how hard this is, right? By the way, this is bullshit. This is not easy. This is not first level goals right here. Which is one of the things that I would hear a lot of people talk about, was that Tony Hawk 4 is a hell of a lot more difficult than fucking Tony Hawk 3. Oh, there we go. Got it. First try. That's crazy. That's crazy that I fucking just did that. Yes. By the way, the game will ask you to save every time you complete a goal. The answer is always yes, because it means whenever you want to turn off, you can turn off. Yeah, no. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. That's not a level 1 goal, but I just sketched that shit. Other than that, yeah, you can see that it's a little bit different. You still got the bridge. The area with the thingies don't actually exist. Those little like bulletin boards, they don't exist. You do get the bridge, but the bridge doesn't. It leads into like this area, which is like, I don't know, this fountain kind of area. It's kind of neat. Here's where you can do the spine transfers. See? Does that feel weird? Isn't that odd? You go up, and then Tony just like spine transfers. That's weird. That's so strange to me. That that's a mechanic, but it's good. I'm glad it's a mechanic. Anyway, here's the bulletin boards. So they made it a little bit smaller for the PS1 version, but not by much. This is like still very, very faithful. Check this out also. You go over to the tennis courts. I only just discovered this. There's a guy named Bjorn. And you can talk to him. And you can play Tony Hawk's Pro Tennis. Shit. Now, I've yet to find the secret to actually defeating Bjorn in battle. But I just love the fact that apparently Neversoft had so little to do when they were working on Tony Hawk 4 that they just instead decided to devote precious development resource times to a tennis minigame. I love it. That's awesome. And I showed this to the Somnolians the other night, and they're like, that's so whimsical. It's so whimsical. It's a little bit of whimsy, chat. Anyway, I suck at this. I've yet to score a single point against Bjorn in any of my attempts. But that's okay, because we're having fun. We're just silly and frolicking. They were having fun. They were, and it is fun. It is very fun. Maybe you control how hard you hit by like how hard you hit the button, because I remember I'm using a DualShock 2, so I'm actually dealing with them pressure sensitive face buttons and shit. But really, it just feels random. Frolicking, drinking Ghost, playing tennis with a skateboard, eating chicken pot pie. DCB is living that college lifestyle, chat. I respect it. I commend it, in fact. Already game of the year. Wait, I got a point! I got a point! Oh, that's so exciting, chat. I've got 2 points! Holy shit. First skitching and now beating Bjorn in tennis? Can we do it, chat? Maybe we can. Maybe we actually can. I did it! I have beaten Bjorn in battle. This is the run! Oh, that's awesome. That's crazy. Nope, sorry, Bjorn. I'm out of here. You know, maybe it was a good thing that I started drinking right before the stream. Anyway, here's Bob Burnquist. And he wants me to get a big combo. You get 10 seconds to start one. Do you want to give it a roll? Sure. Wait, hold on. What is this? What do you actually want me to do? You just want me to get a big combo? I can try. Damn it. Now I'm gonna suck at the skating part. Okay. You know what? That's not bad. That's not bad. Oh god. Alright. I don't know what I'm doing. Whoops. And I fell flat on my ass. That's fine. Because it was what, best 2 out of 3 count, right? Hey! Cool!
That was sweet.
First try. Do you think they motion cap Bob Burnquist doing these motions? Somehow I don't think so. Real. That is absolutely real, chat. You can't do car plants anymore, which kind of makes me sad. Because car plants are like an institution of Tony Hawk, right? Oh, I almost got the money. Damn. Let me try that again. But yeah, this is kind of the fun part of Tony Hawk 4, is that you can just like skate, free skate? You just free skate. There's the money. Nice. Show me the money. Yeah, you can just free skate. There's no time limit for finding all the stuff in the levels. You just kind of like skate around and figure out how to get to shit. It's kind of neat. Real open world. And of course, this would obviously become, you know, the whole thing with Tony Hawk Underground, which I own Underground 2 on disc. And I should play that at some point, right? Is it Tony Hawk Underground or Underground 2 that I have? Underground 2. That's what I've got. I just noticed in the ass saying, Bjorn is going down. He had faith in me. That was the run. You all had faith in me. That was the run. That was great. I was actually expecting to get a single point there. Because that shit is hard. You could probably tell. You don't really know where your hitbox is. You know? Stay up. Oh! I just passed right through it. That sucks. You just couldn't exactly tell where the hitbox was. But the secret, just like in real tennis, just hit the ball really, really hard. And, you know, first try. Something kind of fun back here. The clock tower, empty. If you go in it, it teleports you up here. So you get a high wire, and then little skating area on top of the building. This is standard, by the way, in college campuses all around the United States. It's true. I'm talking out of my ass. Oops. Hey! I like this. This is a second floor cafeteria area. It wasn't actually too long before I tried playing this that I watched Pretzel's video on exploring this game. And he was talking about how weird this area is. Because here's the counter, right? But like after you've paid for your food, how the fuck are you supposed to go back to the seating area? And he was like, I don't know, maybe they're lining up like this way? Which makes more sense, but also like still seems a little clunky. Man, that reminds me, the best subreddit is r/Tony Hawkitecture. For obvious reasons. There are some real parts in the real world that are like, oh my god, that's a Tony Hawk game right there. So, you know what? I support it. Anyway, here's a homeless person. He's seeing pink elephants, chat. You gotta help him. No, don't lip spine transfer, motherfucker. Fuck. Spine transfer. Fuck. It's Tony Hawk helping his community. Oh, shit. Fuck. He goes above and beyond. Damn it. See, what I love also, by the way, if you're not up on your Tony Hawk lore, you might have noticed that we were talking to Ollie, the Magic Bum. He was actually in Tony Hawk 2. Oh my god, I'm fucking spine transfers up, motherfucker. When I was a kid, whenever I watched Dumbo, I closed my eyes at the pink elephant part. Never seen Dumbo. Fuck. But yeah. So he was in Tony Hawk 2. He was the beach bum in Venice Beach. And what you had to do... What you had to do was jump over him. So he was not named Ollie the Magic Bum. He was just the Magic Bum. And you ollied him. There we go. Got it. First try. Anyway. But then he became like a serious, like, actual, like, unlocked skater. So in Tony Hawk 3, you could play as this guy. And in Tony Hawk 4, he's seeing Martians. I'm glad that Neversoft keeps him employed. Tony Hawk 3 was nuts, though, with the unlock skaters. Because there was Ollie, you could skate as Kelly Slater, Silver Surfer style fucking skating on a floating skateboard. It was pretty baller. There was Darth Maul. Darth Maul was one. And then Wolverine in the PS1 and N64 versions. Who else? I'm sorry. I just noticed that. Happy Pride Month, everybody. What else do I still gotta do? Swallow pride. So yeah, here we are. So Officer Tom, which is not Officer Dick. I was surprised. He's after our buddies again. They're skating at all of our favorite spots. You gotta warn him. You gotta warn him before he gets there. He's heading towards the philosophy building. Okay. So you just follow the arrow. There's that guy. And what? Do I just... Now he's heading towards security. Okay. Oh, I see him. Beat him to the Coliseum. Oh, fuck. Tony. Well, I failed that one. Okay. Oh, Tom, Dick, and Harry. Well, how about it? Wow. Okay. That's... Wow. That's what we in the trade call dark humor, liberals. Calm down. Oh, he be running. Alright, so we hit that. Oh, I see him. He be running. He doesn't give a fuck about Tony, though. Tony's okay on the skateboard. Oh, I see. Last one in front of the parking garage. There he goes. Okay. That happened. Boom. Alright. I don't know why I thought that was so difficult. Maybe the arrow didn't spawn? I don't feel like I got an arrow the last time. Yay, I got a stat point. And I like this also that they explain what the fuck the stats mean this time. So what the difference between air and hang time is, you know? As far as what I upgrade though, I mean, I don't really use manuals all that much. I guess I'll put the point in manuals, that's fine. Yeah, let's go ahead and save. Alright. So we have not gotten all of the goals, I don't think. So we're missing 2. We are only missing 2. That's cool. There's one that we don't know about, and then one that's locked. So...
Hey, you're back?
Oh. I didn't want to do that. There's some money. I do like money. Money is good. Where's that? There's that cash icon. I just gotta get enough speed. Oh, I meant to do that. I love it when I do random specials. That's awesome. Yeah, game, you totally overestimate how good I am at you. You know, if this is what the Underground series feels like, honestly, I'm going to have to play it sometime soon. Because this game... It's funny, actually. So, I don't normally look at, like, actual reviews of games, right? Like, occasionally I will, but I don't take them very seriously. Like, even retro reviews, I just don't bother. But there's one site that I've been reading for a long time, and it's called the Video Game Critic. And he was actually one of the first people, I would say, to seriously be pursuing reviewing games online. Because his site came around in 1999. That's a pretty early fucking start, you know? And normally I really, like, respect and also agree with a lot of Dave's opinions on games. But he gave Tony Hawk 4 a really low score. I want to say it was like a D+ or something. And he was like, yeah, you know, and he likes the other Tony Hawk games, don't get me wrong, but he's like, yeah, this game is way too fucking difficult, and it's way too weird to control, and, you know, all that. And I'm like, yeah, I could see where people would say it's, like, too difficult. Like, if you're not, like, a Tony Hawk 3 master, don't bother playing this one, I don't think. But it feels very similar to Tony Hawk 3 in terms of the engine. Anybody who's, like, really proficient at this game... at that game would be just fine playing this one, you know? But I put it off for a little while for that reason. But then I was finally like, you know what? It's about time. It's about that time. I should probably try this out. And I've had a lot of fun with it. So basically what I'm saying is people online are stupid. Throw rocks at them. Just kidding. Dave, you're great. Unfortunately, he won't for whatever reason... whenever I apply to make a new account at his forum, it doesn't go through. So I'm going to assume that he has a personal problem with me, and I don't know why. I love you, though. Your reviews are great. You're never going to see this video, but, you know. There's one more goal. I don't know what that goal is. I do see there's that one money icon. I'm trying to figure out how to get to it. Having a little cappuccino Ghost. Listen, I did thoroughly enjoy drinking Ghost. It's hard to not enjoy anything that makes you perky as shit, okay? That's why I'm switching to cocaine. Oh, shit. I would have been fine had I not tried to upright myself. Just trying to grab some of the money around. If I can't find where I'm supposed to do the next thingy, then I'm just going to try to grab some of the money first. Bro died and you're laughing. Goddamn right I am. Tony died and I said, thank God. There we go. I had to jump for the money. I don't know why. Tony Hawk leads a life of tragedy. What's that meme? Tony Hawk's existential nightmare. You famous? Question mark. Wait, I saw some money up there. I'm sorry, can I do a trick off the garbage truck? That's a yes. You heard it here first, folks. from none other than Tony Hawk. That is a thing you can do with a garbage truck. Garbage day! Fucking frat dudes. Oh my god. There goes the garbage truck. Wait! That's real! Dudes, that's funny. Oh man, that's crazy. Check that shit out. It spawns like a little mini game where you try to get as much money as you can from the garbage trucks. That's a thing. What will they think of next? I know I just absolutely sucked at that, but you know. Let's try that again. That was cool. I wasn't actually expecting that. Yeah. And it spawns 2 garbage trucks. These Neversoft kids are crazy. What will they think of next? There we go. You just do the tricks back and forth. I wish it was this easy to get money in real life. Oh, fuck. That's crazy. Let's try that again. See ya, ill, lying down. Hope you feel better, man. It could be if you had a gun. Savannah, what are you implying? Wait, can you do this endlessly? Does the money just respawn? You've collected all the cash for this minigame. Lazy ass programmers. They couldn't even fucking stop having the money show up, so they're just like, sorry, you got everything. I like the kegs, by the way. That's a nice touch. These give me PTSD. Those are not as easy to kick down as Tony is making it look. Those are like... I don't know. I wanted to say those are probably quarter kegs. Shit's heavy. Shit is heavy. And if they're half kegs, fuck that. Half kegs, you need 2 people. You cannot just kick those over with a bucket of water. Sorry. The guy who programmed it like 3 months before release, he only understood... No one understood his code but him. So they're like, I don't know, just put some text there. I don't know. My mother carried kegs for work back in the day. I had to do that for my last job. And it kind of sucked. To be perfectly honest, I always dreaded when someone came in for a keg. If it was a sixtel, it was fine. Like sixtels I can carry, like just with 2 arms. But if it's a quarter, you're gonna need like a fucking hand truck. And if it's a half keg, I'm gonna be sore the rest of the day. Don't buy a fucking half keg, please. Well, you know what was really cute though? I've only ever seen 2 beers come in these. Heineken and Krombacher. But both of those came in these fucking, they're like mini kegs. They're tiny. They're adorable. They like fit on a desk. I was like, that's so cute. I don't like either of those beers, so unfortunately I never bought one, but I'm like, that's so cute. And it comes with the little hose. I'm like, that's adorable. You can look it up. That's real. They're like, I don't know, 1.5 liters. It meant you couldn't trust anything she passed you because it could weigh a ridiculous amount. She'd hold it like it's nothing. I'm telling you, dude, Welsh women, strong as all fuck. Alright, don't let them fool you. They can win an arm wrestling contest. I'm just saying. It's crazy. That's whimsy. Whimsy, chat. Whimsy. I'm gonna make that my next stream name. Right next to, first try. Whimsy. Trailblazer. Thank you, thank you. I'm glad someone appreciates. What is that arrow? Is that my next goal in trash can? Yes! New goal. Hey there, the frat boys trash can me. Can you get him back for me? Sure. So what am I supposed to do? Just knock him down? Yeah, literally, you just skate near him. You just skate near him and then they eat shit. I mean, it's probably not too difficult at all to knock down drunk white boys. If all my days of watching Classic Game Room have taught me anything. Gun. See, I love that. Every other goal in the game, you know, a little bit of whimsy. Gotta figure out how to do it with, you know, your skateboard. Get back at the frat boys. Gun. I'd love that. Let's do switch. Alrighty. I want to say... Is that it for goals? I mean, other than whatever the fuck that is. Oh! It's not marked as locked anymore. Okay, so let's go... Let's go find him. Oh, he's right there. The football team is hogging the Coliseum for their practice. That ain't right. Oh, sorry. I just realized. I've been talking. There's actual voice acting in this game. Oh, okay. That's cute. Ah! But you gotta land the combo. Man, that's tricky. Oh, man. I'm not getting enough air to do that. Let me not do that. I have to do that. Got 6 of them in one go. Boom. First try. Getting in some nice jocks versus nerds type stuff in there, chat. 69. 69, the Swallows. Nice. You have enough goal points to go to a new level. Well, I'm going to go grab myself another drink real quick. And I'm going to leave you guys on my intermission screen that I never tire of sending you to. It's only going to take me like 20 seconds. The fridge is literally within walking distance, as opposed to some people's houses where they're on the other side of the state. But anyway, I promise you I'll be right back. Yeah, I guess that'll work. Okay, hold on. bump into it. But unfortunately, we have to get along the stream. I wish I knew who made that. I wish I knew who made that Muzak rendition of Summer in the City. I just know it because it was in an Oddity Archive episode. But I've yet to figure out what exactly it comes from. I just know that it's on YouTube. So hopefully someday we get a little exhibition to figure out again where it comes from, because I would love to know. I would love to give proper credit. I'd love to buy a CD of it. Part of this song does remind me of the Busted song from Phineas and Ferb. I don't know if I've ever heard that. I have spent, I'm not going to say quite a bit of time, but I definitely watched some Phineas and Ferb back in the day. I'm of that age. I'm of that age, chap. You're of that age, more than likely. Anyway, transition. We return to Tony Hawk 2. I return with Sam Adams' Cherry Wheat, which is good as shit. I actually don't like normal Sam Adams. The Cherry Wheat's good, though. Alright, so that is it for college. We are on to San Francisco. I actually don't know a lot about this level. I don't know anything about this game. I don't know how to play Tony Hawk. I've been faking it this whole time. Alright. So there's a skater kid. Let's just explore a little bit. It's probably the best thing to do. I don't know who Tony Hawk is. That's probably the best thing to do, right, chap? Before I actually, go and I start doing stuff, let's explore a little bit. As chat likes to say, a little bit of whimsy. We have an explore. Oh, apparently I can't go that way, sorry. Actually, I didn't show it off when we were playing the PS1 version, but if you try to go into these areas, what the game will do, instead of just like this, is it will violently shove you back into the play area. And I love that. That's how you do it. It reminds me of, what's that game called? Motocross Madness? Oh. Motocross Madness, where you try to go to the, boundaries, and it just like violently launches you across the map. Something like that. That's not a gap. You're fucking with me. Up. That's not a gap. It's just a hop. That doesn't count. That's not a gap. I love you, Neversoft. Never change. Anyway, we got this little upstairs right here. This is apparently a real building, by the way, which is something fun. Neversoft sometimes likes to put like real buildings and stuff into their levels, so this is fun. A little enclosed skating area right here. Ooh. Can you use the little watcher stations? You can! Unbelievable, chat. They were like, fuck it, we're not making a skating game, we're making a sandbox. I love seals so much. Arf, arf. That's awesome. Dude, that's awesome. I wonder if that's going to be a thing in every single level. They just have one part where it's like, this is not skating shit. This is not a skating game anymore. This is just like some shit that we made because it was funny. I hope so. Because that would be great. I really want to see what Kebby thinks of this, especially. I mean, I know that she's been in the chat, but I just want to know, like, what is your impression of this, being that it is so similar to Tony Hawk 3 and yet so different. Seal of approval, but it's very funky, she says. See, I don't know if you guys know this, but my girlfriend is kind of a gamer, and she played Tony Hawk 3 as a kid, and I didn't play Tony Hawk 3 until well after I met her. And then I was like, well, you know what I gotta do, and that is obsessively 100% Tony Hawk on multiple platforms, Tony Hawk 3 on multiple platforms. You have a girlfriend? That sounds fake. There are no girls on the internet. Some might even say a pro gamer. It's true. She is. Alright? Have you seen the way that she abuses glitches in Skyrim to give herself 40,000% effective armor? It's pretty real. I'm not a pro gamer. I'm just autistic about the Elder Scrolls and Okami. Well, not with that attitude. You're a pro gamer in my heart, okay? I love you. I can get that money up there. I can. Roboblocks. I have an enchanted necklace now that makes bows 20,000% more effective, and I can one-shot a dragon. I'm telling you. Pro gamer. Alright? She's the real deal. Nah, but it was fun. Figuring out Tony Hawk 3 and being like, hey Kevy, it's like you know the game that you played as a little kid, you know. And then there was that time. It was very, very early into the first trip. This might have actually been like maybe one of the first nights that I stayed in her room, where I was playing for the first time ever the European version of Tony Hawk 3, which is exactly the same as the American version of Tony Hawk 3. And I had just 100%ed Foundry, which is the level that she knows the best because it's the first one. And I 100%ed it, and I got so excited that I didn't remember that her chair is all fucked up, and I flopped out of it because the back just collapsed in my excitement. And as a result, I just immediately fell on her floor, and her dad was like, "Are you alright?" I'm like, "Yeah." I got excited. Cue massive crashing noise. Oh, it was great. It was such good times. One thing I will say, actually, speaking of games that I want to play over there, because Cardiff has a really, really nice CEX. Believe me, some CEXs are like little holes in the wall, and all they have is like, I don't know, stuff from modern consoles, basically. But the one in Cardiff is really, really nice, and they have a nice selection of PC games as well. And they also have, you know, retro consoles of other stripes. Fine. Oh, fuck you! I got that. But anyway, you know, a bunch of different consoles and retro games and stuff that they have. And she picked me up Gran Turismo for the PS1, which I already own. But specifically, I own the American version, and the European version actually does have some unique differences, mostly in the soundtrack. They got like a whole bunch more Feeder songs and stuff like that, which Feeder, Welsh band. Because every single band that I know of from the UK ends up being fucking Welsh. I don't know how that happens. Such a small country, and yet all of these really influential bands and famous singers and stuff come from there. It's fascinating times. But yeah, so I started my GT2 save actually while I was at her house on an emulator, and then brought it back to my real copy of GT2 and finished it. And I'd like to do the same for GT1, because I've just been getting that itch to play a racing game where I can do the same thing over and over on tracks I know very, very well. I have a habit of playing games that are very, very repetitive, and I know very, very well, and can just blow through in 45 minutes. I wonder why. I can never get this money icon. I'm gonna give up. I'm sorry, chat. I'm too stupid. Autism. Well, I don't know. I've never been diagnosed, man. I very much have, yes. CEX is great. CEX is great. See, the funny thing about CEX is that it's a franchise. It's effectively the McDonald's of video game stores. I shouldn't say that. It makes it sound like shit. I just mean that, like, everyone is run by a different person, basically. So it depends on that specific store, like, what it's going to be like. But believe me, when you get a good one, patron it. Because it's not just games you can get there. You can get, like, DVDs for £2, and it'll be like Clerks, and then you could go home and watch Clerks right after watching Paddington, which we did, and it was a lot of fun. And then I drank too much, and we watched Faulty Towers, because I love it. That's great. Listen, we had a good time. I got fed up with CX last week. Prices are insane. See, the prices. It's funny. Hold on. Let me grab it. Fun fact, a YouTuber called me Kevin once owned a CEX. I think I remember you telling me that. Hold on. The prices, I actually have them on my shelf. The price tags on my PC games are still attached. So I still have exactly how much I paid for each one. And they weren't bad. So, let's see. I'm going to grab Doom 3, Halo, Oblivion, Red Faction. So I've grabbed 5 off my shelf, just for the fuck of it. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, £4. Red Faction, £1.50. Halo, the first one, £3. Oblivion, the version with all the DLC and the making of Oblivion with the famous chess club scene, £3. And then the CD-ROM version of Doom 3, £2.50. So, like, I don't know. And it's not like this was, I mean, some of these were last year, weren't they? You know, the prices, don't get me wrong, I think they've gone up a little bit. But I think that's more just CEX knowing what they have. Like, here's the thing. The games I remember paying the most for, like, I think I paid £7 for the, for GTA Vice City. Which, you know what? Given that it's fucking Vice City, yeah, sure. I can take that. And keep in mind, these are not like, oh, reprinted box, reprinted manual. No, they're like, you get the fucking manual, you get the fucking registration card, you get the disc. Doom 3 had all the discs in it. Oblivion had the manual, the fucking map of Oblivion. Then you get, what was that, 3 discs? 3 discs for Oblivion. You get the manual for Halo. Manual for Halo, product key, disc. Red Faction, got the manual, got the discs. So, like, I get it. I'm sure every CEX is different, but the prices that I've gotten these for have been really good, you know? And that's, I don't know. I'm happy about that. Honestly, at this point, I've gotten all the games that I really want outside of Half-Life and Quake. So if those pop up, I'll take them. But Cabby has been watching CEX and buying games for me, and then I PayPal her whatever she paid. So as a result, I haven't been missing like games since I haven't been there because she's been checking for me. So I have a ton of games over there waiting. You know, I have Halo 2, I have Vice City and San Andreas. I don't remember which other ones. It was kind of hard to tell from the picture. But yeah, the prices have been good. You know, I've been happy with the prices. So, and also it's funny because sometimes you pick up games that look like absolute garbage, but they're like 50p, and that's the fun part. Like, there was this one, and I have a second one from this company waiting for me. It's called Pac-Max Classics, and it's from a company called Hemming, and they're German. And it is literally 6 different Pac-Man clones that are like made in, I don't even know what the fuck they're made in, but this is like a Windows 95, 98 thing. And they're basically like little flash games. And I was like, for 50p, given how horrific the box art is, I'm like, yeah, I'll take that. That's funny as shit. They want like 200 fucking euros for God Hand. I mean, that's the thing. If you're talking about really like, you know, more rare stuff or more valuable stuff, I get it. I can see why it would be that much. I know that I've seen lots of photos of people like finding Rule of Rose, for example, at a CEX and it being like, I don't know, 400 fucking pounds. But I don't want to play Rule of Rose. I don't give a shit. I don't give a fuck. Alright, hold on. Sorry, I had to turn my light back off. But yeah, other than that, yeah, I'm sure the prices do differ. I'm sure that there are CEXs that are rip-off merchants, but the one in Cardiff, very, very nice. Oh, why did I unfold this? Good luck getting it folded back up, man. That's tragic. Now, the one I got to has 3 copies of Rule of Rose, each 500 euros. Yeah. Oh, man, it's the line. It's the line, chat. Skate the line, Bart. Like, come on, this is classic Tony Hawk architecture right here. Ramp, rail, 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 ramp. That's that good shit. And you just go back and forth. Did we say autism? Anyway. I never saw any price differences between shops. Maybe the ones in Portugal just suck dick. I don't know. But I was pretty happy with the ones I saw in Cardiff. Again, I guess maybe it depends on what games you're getting, but like Halo and Oblivion and stuff, they're not like, you know, those are the games that I imagine would be scalped, and they just weren't. So I don't know. I don't know, chat. Oh my good lord. There's dudes working under them military vehicles. Can I hop it? I can if I go fast enough. The same price between all stores. Yeah, that's tragic. That's unfortunate. I feel for you, Moon Moon. I feel like I can do it. I feel like I can do it. I find it's the Nintendo games that hold the value the most. Most first-party 3DS games sell like £25. Oh, meanwhile, here I am still mentally stopping myself from hearing CEX as CES. I understand that completely. The good news, at least with the 3DS games, and DS games for that matter, although I have picked up DS games occasionally from CEX, is you can play that shit using like FBI or NDS Bootstrap on a hacked console, so it's not like I'm too terribly concerned if I can't find whatever such game for like a reasonable price, because you can just install the CIA version of it. I mean, really, console hacking has been a godsend, because it means that you don't have to pay some scalper outrageous prices just to play a game on real hardware. Funnily enough, I still see people on like Reddit who are like, should I pay a scalper $20 for this cheap as fuck knockoff multi-cart for my GBA. Like, no, motherfucker. Get an EverDrive. Get an EverDrive. Get an EverDrive like somebody who has sex, okay? Thank me later. Yes, they're more expensive up front, but you know what? They're also worth it. They also are good as shit. You know? Oh, cool. You can get hit by the bus. That's awesome. Do people with EverDrives have sex? This is a good question, but, you know, I would assume that if there were people who played obscure video games and had sex, it would probably be the people with EverDrives. That's just my assumption. Oh, and $100 for Sonic Advance. Gross. Absolutely gross. By the way, I will maintain that the 3DS is still the best fucking handheld of all time. You can natively play GBA, DS, 3DS, and emulate GBC, NES, Super Nintendo, I think Super Nintendo, Genesis, you know, whatever the fuck you want there. And if you get one of the new models, you can even do some PS1 games. Badly, don't bother with fucking PS1 emulation on 3DS. Like, there's just no reason that one console should be able to hold all this power. But it does, and it's awesome. I love the 3DS, and I'm excited that I'm going to be playing mine more as I travel with Kebby. I still have to complete my decks for Gen 1 Pokemon. Maybe I will do that. Maybe I will make that happen this year. Maybe I finally will, Kebby. Maybe you will finally see me get 151 Pokemon in the decks. All with fantastic customization, too. Absolutely. I've never been one for, like, ricing consoles and stuff, but, yeah, no, if you're into theming and shit, the 3DS is your baby. And it's never been easier to hack a 3DS. The only reason Cabby's was a little bit more difficult was Seed Miner, for whatever reason, failed on hers, and I had to buy a flash cart with NTR boot to be able to do it. But once I did that, it was easy. It was really fucking straightforward, you know? Man, that bus stops on a dime! They got some fancy-ass transportation in San Francisco. Alright, let's actually start doing some goals now that I kind of know the area. Skater Kid.
Alright, it's like this. Select the combo letters, but y'all gotta do it in one
A single trick combo. Well, now you've gotten me curious. Okay, so they don't mean one combo. They just mean that you can't do, like, 2 different grinds. Ugh. Speaking of Quake, I was looking for a copy today, but people only had the jewel cases. Yeah, Quake is still in that era of the big box PC games that I imagine it'll be, like, more difficult to find. Which is why I'm okay if I don't find it. It's like more like the Half-Life 2 box sets that I'm more looking for. But past that, I mean, I've got everything that I want. I've got the Halo games. I've got Red Faction. I've got Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. Fuck. You know? And I've got plenty that I gotta play. So, I'm not overly concerned about getting more. I love big box games. Thankfully, I never got the fetish for them. Like, they're nice. Don't get me wrong. They're definitely cool as fuck. But I'm glad that I've never actively sought them out. Because, shit's expensive. People want them. And I don't blame them, but also I'm just glad that that's not me. I'm glad that I'm very happy buying music CDs for $1 a piece. By the way, I gotta write the blog post about it, but I found yesterday in a Salvation Army 16 ass fucking copies of somebody's student short film from Ithaca College, New York. It was literally a 9-minute short film that they had burned onto DVD and authored up in Final Cut. I just found 16 copies of it sitting in my thrift store in a box of slimline HP jewel cases, which is wild. Someone couldn't shift those things, now it's your destiny. I've debated what I do with them because, of course, maybe I should just recycle them or whatever. But like, I don't know. Maybe it'd be fun to like sneak them into things. Maybe it'd be fun to do arts and crafts with them. I'm not sure. Shout out to Ithaca, chat. It's like GBA boxes where they're neat, but how am I storing that? Yeah, no. Well, the problem is that nobody kept the boxes, and the boxes always took a beating anyway. For whatever reason, Nintendo boxes before the GameCube were made out of the shittiest, cheapest cardboard they could find, and thus nobody fucking has them anymore because you just throw that shit out. And what was great too was I remember an old AVGN video where he was talking about his NES collection, and he goes, "I can understand why people would throw away the boxes. But why the manuals?" And I'm sitting here going, I don't understand why you throw either of them away, alright? If I'm being perfectly honest. It's fucking packaging, sure, but it's the way that the game is stored. What's wrong with you, So yeah, I mean, I have a ton of loose NES games still sitting in my closet. I gotta get rid of them at some point. But manuals, people just lose them, which is, again, stupid, because, like, do you guys not have those sleeves that you put the NES games in? You can just put the manual in there. If you keep the box, you can put the manual in there. I don't know. There's no justice in the world, chat. There's no justice. No peace. How do you lose them? Bro, I lose the box. Have you seen my house? How do you lose them? How do you lose them? Bike Messenger. I took a header and lost all my packages. Can you find them? Sure. I can give them a shot. But I just took a header and lost all my packages. There's a package. Huh. No justice, no peace, no NES manuals. I have 2 boxes for Scribblenauts. They're both empty, and one is severely sun damaged. That also makes me sad. I'll see people who like don't realize that you're not supposed to store that stuff in the sun. Obviously, I know you were a little kid, so it's a little bit different. But like people will unironically, like, how should I store my CDs? It's like not in direct sunlight, not in a crazy humid place. Like, it's not rocket science. Don't put them in extreme conditions. It's not really hard, Here's a package. I feel that when I'm looking at vintage Garf so often, they have sun bleaching. Yeah, because people put them in their windows. It's like, man, why did you do that? I get it. You want to show your Garfield off to the world, but like, I don't know. Maybe your Garfield is better kept private. Maybe your Garfield should only be for that special someone. Maybe you should keep your Garfield in the bedroom, okay? I do want to show my Garfield off to the world. Oh, there's the last package. Got it.
So much. Now I can keep my job.
Yeah, don't put it outside in St. Louis, Missouri. Don't store it under the, wheels of the bus. Don't take it outside during a lightning storm. You gotta take your Garfield out on adventures and then bring them home. Like I did with my Paddington. I have a little tiny Paddington that I bought at that BBC exhibit. And I'm excited because he'll be coming with me. Because, gotta have somebody you recognize on crazy trips abroad. Man. That's the hardest part of this game, collecting the money icons. Fucking hell. But yeah, on the boxes. Nintendo also took the longest to phase out the boxes. Sega was the first. Yeah, no, the boxes for like Genesis games, the hard clamshell ones, not the cheap cardboard ones. Like I do own one of those cheap cardboard ones. But the clamshell ones for the Genesis, great, awesome. Like they genuinely, like, they're great, you know. I bring timber along in my book bag. I don't care anymore. I'm glad that you have finally felt brave enough to bring your cool wolf along with you. You know? Never seen any cardboard ones. My cardboard one is for Williams Arcade Greatest Hits, which weirdly enough I know of from Classic Game Room's review of the PS1 version. Never played the PS1 version, own the Genesis version though, which is not bad. It's definitely like a remake as opposed to an emulation, but it's not bad. If you only have a 3-button controller, you can only play Robotron while shooting where you're moving, which kind of ruins it. But, you know, you do what you gotta on 3 buttons, which is not a whole lot. But we make do, chat. Country girls make do. Nearly all copies of Sonic 1 I found were missing the manual. I should check my copy. I have a boxed copy of that. I should check it. Sorry, I got this disrupted. There we go. I got the money. I don't even know what I use money for in this game, but I'm collecting it anyway because it's right in front of me. Anyway, let's do a thingy. You want to compete? First place goes to the skater with the best 2 out of 3 runs. Alright. Hell the fuck yes. I need a good place where I can do lines. How far does the competition area go? No shit. Oh, we're doing lines now. Where's Bear in the big blue house when you need him? Ah, shit. Bear, where are you in this cruel world? Man, I keep trying to latch onto the rail and it doesn't work. I don't know. Let's just see what happens if I leave. Is the game ever going to stop me from being out of the competition area? I guess not. Well, what's the point of that then? Oh, that's not what I wanted at all. Whatever, I'm gonna call that my worst heat. I suppose this is my dirty little secret weakness with Tony Hawk is if there's not a bowl, I don't know what the fuck to do. A bowl's a goal. Nokia sponsoring my beloved. Nokia sponsored Tony Hawk 3 as well. That's crazy. Ah! Ga. Connecting people. It's so utopian. Now all we do is separate people. Oh, God. You're out of the competition area, but there's a bowl. Man. This game is discriminatory. Have you ever been at the point of a project where you contemplate buying a 1.5 long drill bit? Only when I've been debating giving people lobotomies. Windows phones are the greatest tragedy because I think Kebby used to be like, she used to have one, and she would be like, to be honest, they were kind of the least shit of the three, but it was so hard getting software for them. She had to use this Garbo, like, Discord client, like a third-party one, and it sucked, but that's what she had to do because she had a Windows phone, and now their whole family has, like, rugged Android phones, which is pretty awesome, to be honest. DCB is Microsoft's biggest fan. If Microsoft is one fan, it's DCB. If Microsoft is 0 fans, DCB's fucking dead. I love this company. Developers. Damn it. Kind of digging the Fisher-Price Mac update. Wow, cheating on Microsoft with Apple? That's scandalous, my friend. Man. They skipped 10 versions, so it's good. My thumb is starting to fucking kill me. I don't know what I did to it, but just like one day my thumb started really like hurting. And it's okay for most of the day, but then I start playing video games at night, and of course I have to use my thumb for all the thumbstick stuff, and it just starts aching again. And I don't know what I did. I don't think it, because Kevin was like, oh, maybe it's infected. I don't think it's infected. I think what happened is it's like, I hurt it in some capacity somehow. Probably playing Guitar Hero, that's what I'm thinking. And now it's like bruised, but the bruise doesn't seem to be healing, and it's been like a week now. And I'm like, boy-oh. That's all I need, 200,000 points. So that's all I need. Damn it. Oh yeah, no guts, no glory. That's it. This is the line. Remember, I was looking for a line chat. I found one in the bathroom in Tijuana. It's real shit. No one can touch me. I am the unstoppable Tony Hawk. I like the one judge who gave me a 6 even though I didn't do anything. Anyway, there we go. Easy does it. Wow, we're almost 10% done with the career. That's pretty cool. Alright, let's go find some more goals to do. And I'll probably cut it at the 2.5 hour mark. Hello, Chad.
Yo, you think
Think you can beat my best 3 combos in a row?
Man, you can't even
Best go
follow
home to
kid.
preschool. Oh
Best
man,
go
this
home
guy
to preschool.
fucks. Fuck. $5,000 points. Fuck. Oh shit. 4,000 points. All I need is 4,000 points. And I'm here like scoring, you know, 22,000. It's pretty sweet. Alright, 5,000. Damn it. There we go. Meanwhile, my cell provider's telling me to upgrade my phone because they're cutting off 3G service. I got that when I was on Straight Talk for a long time. Never again am I ever going to use anything Straight Talk related. But they were telling me, oh yeah, your old phone, it doesn't support 5G, and we're doing away with 4G. I was like, okay. So I switched to consumer cellular instead. Well, that worked. 6,000 points. Hey, yeah, eat shit, Chad. At least I think that's what they said. Straight Talk was like, your 4G LTE phone is out of date. Yeah, something like that. Sounds about right. I don't know. Fuck Straight Talk. There's one thing that you ever take from my streams, chat, that you take as personal advice from me to you, it's fuck Straight Talk. Oh man, I grinded the car. That guy is gonna love me for fucking up his paint job. I used Tello. I remember for a brief moment my mom was like, we should switch to Mint Mobile. I'm glad we didn't, because fuck Ryan Reynolds. I still get these Mint Mobile ads. I'm like, man, out of all the things on the planet I want to use, Ryan Reynolds' phone service is like the last on the list. Sorry, second to last. Straight Talk is the last. Consumer cellular is great though. I really don't know why they only like market to old people, because they're so, first off, their prices are great, and then second, they're very straightforward. Like their setup is really simple, and like it's just a lot of the bullshit that I deal with American-based customer service, all the shit that I deal with like other carriers, I don't have to deal with consumer cellular. They're great. And I actually own my phone.
Yo,
So yeah.
try this one.
Yo, try this one. Put down a lip check on each of the 3 peer signs. The trick, check it. So they want me to do triangle right. Wow. Shows you how easy that was. There we go. They want me to do it on the signs? Wait a minute, what the fuck? Do I have to do it up here? Yes, that's what I have to do. Okay. Got it. This clear as mud, chat. Nope, that's not the right thing. There we go. There's the 1. And there's the 2. Yeah. Track phone is similarly bad to Straight Talk. I've never had a directly positive experience in all my time with them. I want to say they're both owned by Walmart, so that checks out. Isn't it great, by the way, that all of this gaming enjoyment has happened without a single disc being involved? Your PS2 the disc drive could be taken out, and guess what? You're still playing Tony Hawk. That's great.
Yo, what's the deal, baby? Let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen.
This high score.
You got 2 minutes. Beat this high score, alright? Oh, shizzy. Or some shit. 50,000 points. Can I do that? Oh, yeah. That's awesome. I'm on Smarty, which runs on 3 networks. One thing else that I really like about Consumer Cellular, now that you have reminded me, Kebby, is the roaming. I got really good service all throughout the UK for Consumer Cellular. Like, it didn't matter where I was. I was using Vodafone's fucking cell towers. I was using this and that and the other. It was great. Everywhere I went, basically, as long as there was self-service at all. I mean, which is not guaranteed in Wales, don't get me wrong. But it was great. It was very, very nice. And all I had to do was call them and be like, hey, can you turn on my roaming? Yes. And then my mom accidentally ate all the data because she was watching YouTube TV on data. Bless her. She was like... She felt bad, don't get me wrong. And I definitely ate like a $150 charge for it. But, you know, we learn from our mistakes, chat. Pops bought a phone on sale with a year of service, and the store tech put it on an account we never got access to. We tried to get into it through a phone pyramid a couple days ago. Over a couple days, he ended up returning the phone and eating the cost of a year of service. Again, it makes me feel like reading Ed Zitron columns, where I'm like, this is not meant for like normal people to like, you know, do shit and have a good service. This is meant for like, you know, rich people to be able to say, hey, we got this, you know, we got all these new people signing up for the service. Don't tell them that the new service is actually just us accidentally signing them up for a new account. Like, unbelievable, dude. Man, you don't hate corporations enough. You think you do, but you don't. I mean, that's Walmart for you, though. Walmart, so bad that motherfucking, they bought Asda, I think it was. We're going to rebrand Asda in the UK to Walmart. And then all the British people were like, but Walmart sucks. And then Walmart went like, oh yeah, that's like brand suicide. And they kept them all as Asda. Make whatever blame to the phone tech. There was no way to even tell what account it was attached to. With the sensitive information you theoretically need, the IMEI. The thing is this shit, even if it was a perfect service, it's already complicated enough for like the old people who are like, what the fuck is an IMEI? Okay, bitch, I remember rotary phones. I don't know what the fucking IMEI is. And then, you know, and then you add in horrible customer service that is barely understandable, and they go, you know what? I'm okay with not having a phone. I think I'm perfectly fine. I'll deal with the social consequences. It's a corpo level problem. It absolutely is. Well, what does he call that? Business idiots, the rot economy. Bunch of cutesy names for it. What I'm saying is this is your extremely reminder to go read Ed Zitron. Okay? He's great. We love Ed Zitron. I actually unironically debated paying for his premium stuff. Just because, like, I'm sitting here waiting, like, man, when is he going to put out a new column?
Let's see if you can match my blinding speed.
Let's see if you can match my blinding speed. We'll race down to the Slam Brothers warehouse and back. You better sketch cars. Do I have to sketch cars? Do I have to? Use a flip phone, and only a flip phone. I don't know. I don't like using any fucking phone, to be perfectly honest. I like using the computer. What? You know what? I don't even want to bother. I don't even want to bother. I'll do this another time. That's a shitty goal right there. What you got for me, Kareem?
See you handle a little business. Let me see you step it up, though. You got 2 minutes to get this pro score. Let's get it popping there.
Did they ask the skaters, would you say this? I mean, I guess so, given that they voice acted it. Alright, 2 minutes to get this pro score. 100,000 points, Kareem. You should know that I am autistic. I get that in 30 seconds. Oops. Oh, shit. See? 30 seconds. But yeah, no, I think, I don't know. I obviously progressed through the PS1 version much faster than I do the PS2 version, but I'm going to be playing them in tandem, I think, just because I really enjoy both of them, and I really want to play through both of them. And of course that means 2 new shiny saves for my memory card of doom. My big ass memory card, which is now going to be significantly, well, not significantly, but decent amount of space taken up just by Fantavision taking up 1.5 meg of fucking space. Shit is crazy. I guess particle effects really just like eat a memory card, you know? But that's why I've got 32 megs, you know? By the way, yes, I know that everybody is talking in chat about having to help people with technology. Believe me, my mom comes all the time with like, hey, how do you fix this? And then I fix it in 15 seconds. And she's like, man, I'm glad that, you know, you exist. I'm like, thank you. I don't know. It is crazy, though, that we've based our entire society on, like, technology that, you basically, like, even, I don't even think people my age really understand how to use it. I understand how to use it, but that's because I don't have a life, you know? But, like, all this, there was I don't know if this is really my story to give out, but a family friend had a problem boarding a plane because of his inability to navigate their shit on phones. And I'm like, man, I swear they do this shit on purpose. Imagine PS1 and PS2 on one controller. That's what I do, baby. Ask me how to drive a manual transmission. Man, that's like that Drew Gooden video where he was talking about that boomer nostalgia page where they were like, yeah, they can use a phone, but can they write in cursive? And it's like, no one needs to know how to use cursive anymore, Grandpa. Let's get you to bed. You know? And then, weirdly enough, the page just, like, devolved into talking about, yeah, my dad beat the shit out of me, and I turned out fine. And, like, that's uncomfortable. You know? I don't know. I do try to stay away from the generational wars, unless it's millennials. Fuck millennials. Iconic video. I can write in cursive and use a phone. That's right, baby. Best of both worlds, ladies. Orderly line. Yeah, no. That's great. That's really great. Ooh, let's see what the fake movies that are playing are. Hold on, check this out. So we have Tightrope, Man versus Concrete. We had cursive lessons in school. Wasn't allowed to use a fountain pen until I could write a certain number of lines without errors. That's crazy. I've done that. Not that, but I think we got taught cursive as well. Let's see. Then we have... I was a teenage producer. I bet he was. That sure is the look of a guy who's had to produce a Neversoft. Ooh, what the fuck? What's going on here? Experience this ride. No one believed it could be done. The search for the elusive... What does that say? The elusive... I can't even read that. And I understand that it's probably blocked for you guys, so let me try to get it on screen. Listen, I'm going to be perfectly honest. That looks like the search for the elusive MTF, which is not very elusive these days. I don't know what the fuck that said. You can go ahead and watch the VOD and check that out. Sorry, now everybody in chat is talking about their handwriting. My only problem with my handwriting is that I hold the pen too hard. So I end up having to, like, you know, take a break because I've tried to retrain my grip and I just can't. Or at least I'm not as... What's this thing on the wall? Can I hit that shit? Hold on. What does it do? What does it do, chat? I feel like I'm a little boy pre-internet trying to figure out what this weird spot on the wall does. And then it doesn't do anything. Yeah, no, I don't like reading cursive either. I don't like reading cursive either. Tony just ate shit hardcore. You're alright there. Some kid at school tells you that if you hit that little bit on the wall, you can play as Luigi. That's awesome. I believe him too. Alright, let's do one more goal and we're going to wrap it up for the evening. I want to do... not the bike messenger. That guy can suck a cock. I can't believe that Luigi was real. It just took the Giga Leak to happen. Which, by the way, you want to talk autistic pride. My man breaks into VTech and Nintendo multiple times. All he gets is house arrest. Listen, he has done absolutely zero wrong, alright? My boy, Zamus Clark, is a legend, alright? I want cowboy songs to be written about that man for stealing all of Nintendo's shit. That's funny as fuck. Follow your heart, chat. Use it to steal a whole bunch of development material from Nintendo. Alright, Chad, what do you got for us?
Hey, what's up?
You think you got mad flip tricks?
Flip in and flip out on this ledge right here at
Flip
EMB,
in and
man.
flip out on
That's
this
the
ledge.
sweet spot.
Not quite. Get back down there, Tony. What the fuck? There we go. It's important for autistic people to be allowed to steal from Nintendo. It's important. It's important. I've yet to be proven wrong. Yeah, not like Nintendo themselves are doing anything about it. Listen, the stuff that we learned from the Giga Leak, absolutely phenomenal. The fact that we learned that there were truly supposed to be 190 Pokemon, and we got all of those leaked early designs for them and stuff, and we learned that that's why there's so many missing no in the game. Like, I don't know. That shit is awesome. I don't know if it came from the Giga Leak, but didn't Space World Gold and Silver come from the Giga Leak also? Or was that separate? I don't remember. Special interest? Theft. Special interest? That really was. He was like, yeah, I just like finding holes in things. I heard the Switch 2 games are slop. Yes, they are. I don't know who the fuck would buy... I was in a Discord server. I'm in a Discord server. And this guy was like, yeah, Animal Crossing New Horizons runs smoother on Switch 2. I'm like, boy, that was worth the $500, wasn't it? Special interest, archival, corporate espionage. I think that is a great note to end this this stream on. Yeah, no, I've literally seen multiple videos where people are like, the new Mario Kart sucks. Which, I mean, to be fair, how can you improve on perfection? Mario Kart Wii already exists. Anyway, so I figure, because I wasn't able to successfully get the intro song working, I'm going to do something rather fun to end us off, especially since there's still a little bit of chatter going on. I want to let you guys have a couple minutes to chatter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play an outro song, which is, again, not something that I normally do, but I'm going to do it set to Fantavision. So we're going to watch Fantavision, we're going to listen to a song, and I'll let you guys finish up your conversations and stuff before we all head out for the evening. All that said, thank you guys for tuning in to, I know, like a little impromptu kind of weird stream. We will be on Jack again next time, I promise. I will get on that and finding some more power cells and stuff to move us along in the game. Because, to be perfectly honest, it definitely has taken longer than I expected it to. Autism Past Generations. I wish my special interest got a sequel. Autist Now. No one touch my special interest, I will get you. Kebby. Every time someone goes, man, I really want to see a Guitar Hero reboot on Reddit, I go, no, you don't. It's going to involve AI. It's going to be shit. You don't want that. You don't want that. I don't want that. You don't want that. You don't want that. Yeah, anything else, I'll be in the chat, and we'll end things off with, again, a little bit of Fantavision and a replay, and I'll let everybody finish up their conversations and whatnot, and we'll end things off with the outro song. What song do I want to do? I definitely want to do one from Savlaki, because Slow Dive is great, and it just kind of seems to suit the stream. Yeah, let's go hard in it. Let's go hard in it, chat. Alright, yeah, like I said, I love you guys. I'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
So